It's only money. Diarrhea gang.
Turn me up, Ray. Turn me up, Ray, man.
Cold Nation. Brick by brick, nigga been fucking with the fit. 392 got the kit. Whole gang round with the switch. 25 niggas got shot in this bitch. It was only 10 seconds. Nigga ain't learned they lesson, so the whole gang gon' die. Fuck around with me, I don't know why. Nigga should've told them whole gang gon' slide.
Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? Thank y'all for tuning in with another episode of Trap Etiquette. And I'm your host, Captain Kirk. What's poppin', y'all? Man, I hope everybody's having a great day. Mine is going pretty swell, man. It's been a few days since I got to get to y'all, man. You know, life calls, man, dealing with kids and birthdays and other things. So, you know, I haven't had a chance to get on here and do a story. You know, I also want to let y'all say hi to my new friend right here. That's Oreo girl. Yeah, she's a little shy, y'all. We just got her though, so we welcome her to the family. You know, but we gonna get off into this Tyree Nichols thing, man. This is crazy as ever, man. And it almost just breaks my heart to turn on the news and see that, you know, all the cops was black. Like, man, after what we've been through in this country, man, I can't even wrap my mind around that, you know, some other black guys would choose to do this to another black guy. I mean, nobody should want to do anybody like this, but you know what we're used to seeing here in this country, man. But I'm gonna give a little clip and give a little snippet, man, update of the story, man, and then we'll have a dialogue at the end, you know, and we'll get a discussion going. But you know, with no further ado, let's get into this thing.
The now seventh officer has been removed from the job over the incident. Earlier today, officials acknowledged that Officer Preston Hemphill was on the scene of Tyree Nichols' brutal beating that night, and they have just confirmed another previously unidentified officer has also been taken off the job. That would be officer number 7. Last week, 5 officers were charged with second-degree murder, and the fallout now extending to the Memphis Fire Department. 2 medical technicians and a lieutenant fired over their handling of the incident. The death of Tyree Nichols has become the latest reckoning for a country still struggling to define and bring about police reform. Priscilla Thompson has the latest for us from Memphis, and a warning: we will be showing some of that graphic video in this report.
Tonight, the Memphis Fire Department terminating 2 medical workers, Robert Long and Jamichael Sandridge, and 1 lieutenant, Michelle Whittaker, who all responded to the police beating of Tyree Nichols. The department says an internal investigation found they violated numerous MFD policies and protocols. 2 Memphis police officers are on administrative leave as investigations into the brutal beating death of Tyree Nichols continues. One of the officers, Preston Hemphill, a 5-year veteran of the force, was relieved of duty alongside the 5 now fired officers shortly after the January 7th traffic stop, according to the department. They say information about the disciplinary action was not immediately released because the investigation is still ongoing.
You guys are really doing a lot right now. Bro.
Hemphill can be seen on his body cam helping pin Nichols down during the initial confrontation until Nichols fled on foot. Authorities say he used a taser.
I hope they stop his ass.
Nichols died 3 days later. An attorney for Hemphill says his client was never present at the second scene and is cooperating with the investigation.
We think that he should be terminated like the other 5 black officers that were terminated.
Attorneys for the family of Tyree Nichols calling the revelation disappointing, saying in a statement, it certainly begs the question why the white officer involved in this brutal attack was shielded and protected from the public eye, and to date from sufficient discipline and accountability. On Saturday, the Memphis Police Department announced it would permanently deactivate its Scorpion unit that the 5 ex-officers now charged with murder belong to.
Units of that kind sometimes can, both in Memphis and around the country, can sometimes breed a culture of over-aggressiveness.
Officials declined to say whether Hemphill was a member of the unit, created little over a year ago to address violent crime. All of this has led to renewed calls for police reform, putting pressure on lawmakers to revisit now stalled negotiations that began after the murder of George Floyd. In the Senate, Republican Tim Scott and Democrat Cory Booker, who helped lead those negotiations, now expressing a willingness to return to the table. But any legislation would face an uphill battle in the Republican-controlled House, where some leaders are already expressing doubt.
I don't know that any law, any training, any reform is going to change. You know, this man was handcuffed. They continued to beat him.
Tonight, lawmakers still divided on the path forward as Tyree's parents move ahead with funeral plans.
Like I said, y'all, just check the narrative, you know what I'm saying? Because they said the reason why you never heard about the other officer is because they were still investigating. No, the real truth is what I'm going to show you in this next clip. The reason why they brought the other officer's name in is because the citizens started speaking up. One of the citizens said something about the other officer. That's why you hear his name now. And they still haven't even released the name of the other officer. See how they play it when the skin is a different color? Like I said, peep the narrative, y'all. I want to see if they're going to keep that same energy. But peep this next clip.
They say information about the disciplinary action was not immediately released because the investigation is still ongoing.
A lot of people think, Clay, there's great frustration that this person was not identified sooner. And I have to note that a big reason why his name really started to come up in the last 36 hours was because of local community activists, Black women who were on Twitter saying, hey, there's this name of an officer in one of the initial affidavits that's mentioned, and they say he used the taser at the scene. Why don't we know anything about this guy? Then from that, you had that group pressuring those activists, as well as some other local progressive outlets like the Tennessee Holler, that then led to the Memphis Police Department publicly identifying this individual. Tyree Nichols, his family, their attorneys, they are calling for this officer to be immediately fired and saying that they want to see more transparency from the Memphis Police Department, and they want all audio recordings to be released immediately. Clay.
Yeah, man, so what y'all think about that, man? This is crazy, man. You just can't see how these guys could just sit there and beat this man this way, man. This is crazy, man. You know, they got to reform this police thing, man, because it's just getting out of hand, y'all. And I know y'all tired of it, because I'm definitely tired of it. You know, they need to have different rules and different regulations for these cops, man, because these guys are just, you know, they're getting out of control, and they're human just like we're human. So, you know, they have bad days at home, and, you know, they come to work and take it out. I mean, how many of y'all had jobs where you had somebody at your job where you actually wanted to put your hands on them? I mean, I've dealt with that. I'm pretty sure all of you had somebody at one job or another where if you could get away with it, you probably would put your hands on that person. You know, so just think about being a cop, someone who who can make the narrative fit their own story, you know, and they find reason to put their hands on you. You can see in the video, they constantly said that he was high off something, you know, because they assume everybody gets high, you know what I mean? Which is just crazy, man. It's just crazy. But, you know, I also want to send my condolences out to Tyree Nichols' family, man. I know it's a rough time for them going through this. So I definitely want to send my condolences out, and rest in peace to him, and may we get justice. And I definitely like how swift they're moving for as firing these guys, because, you know, we've seen it time after time. You know, these guys will kill someone and they'll be suspended with pay, sometime without pay, but I mean, they're suspended, you know, and I'm just glad they're moving this fast, you know, but let's keep this same energy, you know, when the cops look different. You know what I mean? That's all I say. Because to me, I feel like if they were white cops, things wouldn't be moving as fast as they are. Come on, you know how it is. We're waiting on the footage. We're waiting on all this. You know, if it was up to me, the cops shouldn't even have anything to do with the footage. It should be an outside party, you know, that doesn't have anything to do with the cops, you know, because we shouldn't have to be waiting around. And plus, I feel like, you know, when the cops, you know, handle that type of stuff, of course, they can go in and cut certain things out, so you're not getting complete transparency. So, you know, if you ask me, I feel like an outside entity actually should handle the whole camera situation, and then us as the public wouldn't have to really be sitting around and wondering what's really going on. You know what I mean? Because like I said, these cops get away with a lot of stuff, man. A lot of stuff. So I feel like if I can't get away with it, why should they be able to get away with it? You know, I can't put my hands on my woman without going to jail. So how could a cop put his hands on a woman and still don't go to jail? I can't beat my kids without going to jail. So how come a cop can come to my house and beat my kid and he don't go to jail? You know, like, it's upside down, y'all. We got to figure this thing out, man. And until they revamp this justice system, you know, this is the type of stuff we're gonna deal with. You know, people got to speak up, you know, so we got to start banding together and getting out and figuring out who we need to vote for so we could change some things. But you know, it's a work in progress, y'all. But I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in with another episode of Trap Etiquette. And I'm Captain Kurt, and I'm signing off.
Then it's back to my section where them niggas be flexing. I ain't gon' lie. And them hoes be cold, still be using they nose. I ain't gon' lie. Put it on my mama. Already touched the M, nigga. I ain't gon' lie. Niggas be rappers, niggas be capped in a bitch. Ain't nigga gon' testify.